What if humans could read minds? Welcome back to Echo English. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning and discovering that something impossible has happened to every human being on earth. At first, nothing looks different. The roads are busy, people are drinking coffee, checking phones, going to work, laughing, talking, and living normally. But within a few terrifying hours, humanity realizes a horrifying truth. Every person can suddenly hear the thoughts of others. Not spoken words, not facial expressions, not body language, real thoughts. The thoughts hidden behind fake smiles, the silent insecurities buried under confidence, the jealousy hidden behind compliments, the fear hidden behind laughter, the anger hidden behind politeness. For the first time in human history, nobody can hide what is happening inside their mind. And in that single moment, civilization changes forever. At first, people may celebrate this new power. It sounds revolutionary. Imagine a world without lies, betrayal, cheating, manipulation, or corruption. Relationships would become honest, criminals could no longer hide dangerous intentions, politicians could no longer deceive people with fake promises. Humanity may believe it has finally achieved complete transparency, but then reality begins to reveal something deeply disturbing. Human society survives because people cannot read each other's minds. The human brain is not a peaceful place, it is chaotic, emotional, impulsive, fearful, insecure, and constantly changing. Every person experiences random thoughts, temporary anger, silent fears, selfish emotions, and inner battles that they never show to the world. If all of those thoughts suddenly became visible, humanity would experience the greatest psychological shock in history. The first hours when the world descends into chaos. The first few hours after mind reading begins would feel like the collapse of reality itself. Families sitting together at breakfast would suddenly hear things they were never emotionally prepared to know. A husband may discover his wife secretly feels emotionally distant. A teenager may realize his parents constantly worry about him while pretending to stay calm. Friends laughing together may suddenly hear hidden jealousy, comparison, and resentment that had existed silently for years. Imagine entering a crowded classroom. Normally, it looks peaceful. Students appear focused, calm, and ordinary. But now you hear every mind at once. One student is terrified about failing exams, another secretly hates themselves despite appearing confident, someone feels invisible and lonely, another is silently dealing with depression while pretending everything is fine. One student envies another's success. Someone nearby is smiling externally while internally breaking apart. The classroom no longer feels normal, it feels emotionally exposed. Humanity would suddenly realize something shocking. Most people are hiding emotional pain every single day. The modern world trains people to hide weakness. Society rewards confidence, success, beauty, and emotional strength. People learn to wear masks so well that even close friends sometimes never know what is truly happening inside them. But mind reading destroys every mask instantly. And that truth may emotionally destroy millions of people. The death of fake relationships. One of the biggest consequences of mind reading would be the destruction of fake relationships. Many friendships and relationships survive only because humans hide certain emotions to protect peace. People do not always express every irritation, insecurity, or selfish thought because complete honesty can damage emotional bonds. But now imagine hearing every hidden thought from the people closest to you. Imagine hearing a friend secretly comparing their life to yours. Imagine hearing someone compliment you while internally feeling jealous of your success. Imagine discovering that someone who says I love you sometimes secretly questions the relationship. Humanity would suddenly face the terrifying reality that even loving people occasionally think hurtful, irrational, or emotional thoughts. And many relationships would collapse under that pressure. Divorce rates would likely rise dramatically. Friendships built on politeness rather than genuine connection would disappear quickly. Families may begin emotionally breaking apart because years of hidden emotions suddenly become impossible to hide. But in the middle of this destruction, something beautiful would also appear. For the first time in history, genuine love would become unmistakably real. Imagine finding someone whose thoughts truly match their words, someone who supports you sincerely without hidden jealousy or manipulation. In a world where every mind is exposed, honesty would become priceless. Real relationships would become incredibly rare and incredibly powerful. Because when people can no longer pretend, authenticity becomes sacred. Social media would collapse. Modern society is built heavily on image and appearance. Social media especially allows people to create carefully edited versions of themselves. People post happiness while hiding sadness. They post confidence while fighting insecurity. They show success while privately struggling with stress, loneliness, or debt. But in a world of mind reading, all illusions disappear instantly. Imagine watching an influencer post motivational content while hearing their internal anxiety and exhaustion. Imagine seeing a celebrity smiling on camera while secretly fearing irrelevance and loneliness. Suddenly, appearances lose power because emotional reality becomes visible to everyone. Humanity may finally stop worshipping fake perfection. Luxury, beauty, fame, and status would no longer impress people the same way because minds would expose the truth behind appearances. A rich person's expensive car would lose psychological value if everyone could hear their constant insecurity. A confident public speaker may no longer seem powerful if people hear their hidden fear and self doubt. Mind reading could destroy the culture of pretending, and perhaps for the first time, society would begin valuing emotional peace more than external success. Crime would change forever. At first glance, mind reading seems like the perfect solution to crime. Criminals could no longer hide dangerous intentions. Murder plans could be discovered before they happen. Scammers, corrupt leaders, and dishonest people would struggle to survive in a world where thoughts are exposed. Police investigations would completely transform. Courts may rely less on evidence because intentions themselves could become visible. Terrorist attacks, fraud, manipulation, and betrayal may decrease dramatically because secrecy becomes impossible. It sounds like a perfect world, but then humanity faces one terrifying ethical question: should people be punished for thoughts or only for actions? Because human beings naturally think dark or disturbing things sometimes without ever acting on them. A person may imagine violence during anger but never harm anyone. Another may experience frightening thoughts caused by anxiety, trauma, or fear. Thoughts are not always choices. Often they are emotional reactions that appear automatically. If society begins judging thoughts instead of actions, humanity could become dangerously oppressive. A person may become feared not because of what they did, but because of what they secretly imagined, and that could create the most dangerous society in human history. The end of privacy. Today, every human being possesses at least one completely private space: the mind. Even poor people, lonely people, prisoners, and powerless individuals still own their thoughts. Mental privacy is the final form of freedom humans possess. But in a world of mind reading, even that freedom disappears. Imagine never being mentally alone again, never having a private fear, never silently thinking without others hearing you, never emotionally escaping society even for a moment. That psychological pressure would become unbearable for many people. Human beings are not designed for constant emotional exposure. The brain needs privacy to process emotions safely. Without that space, many people may experience anxiety, exhaustion, paranoia, or emotional collapse. Some may isolate themselves completely just to escape the noise of others' minds. In fact, mental discipline may become humanity's most valuable skill. Meditation, emotional control, and focus could become essential survival tools because people would desperately try to control what others hear from their minds. The calmest minds may become the most respected minds on earth. Governments could become terrifyingly powerful. Mind reading would not only change individuals, it would completely transform governments and political systems. Corrupt politicians could no longer hide their true intentions behind speeches and promises. Citizens would instantly know whether leaders genuinely care about people or only seek power. At first, this may sound positive, but imagine governments gaining access to citizens' thoughts, a world where authorities monitor not only actions but ideas. People could become targets for thinking against the system. Freedom of speech may disappear because freedom of thought itself disappears. Humanity could slowly enter a terrifying reality where mental obedience becomes more important than physical obedience. And once thoughts are no longer private, true freedom may no longer exist at all. Because the mind is the final place where human beings are completely free. The most shocking discovery: humanity is secretly suffering. Perhaps the greatest revelation of mind reading would not be about lies, crime, or politics, it would be about pain. Humanity would finally realize how much silent suffering exists inside ordinary people. The smiling cashier may secretly feel hopeless. The successful businessman may constantly fear failure. The funny student making everyone laugh may secretly feel emotionally empty inside. Most people are fighting battles nobody can see. Today, humans judge each other quickly because they cannot hear hidden struggles. A rude person may secretly be broken emotionally. An angry person may feel deeply lonely. A quiet person may be fighting anxiety every day. Mind reading may force humanity to become more compassionate because emotional pain would no longer stay invisible. And maybe for the first time, people would stop asking what's wrong with you and start asking what happened to you. Would love survive? Now comes the deepest question of all. Would love survive in a world where minds are exposed? Because love today depends heavily on mystery, trust, patience, and emotional choice. Humans choose to trust people without fully knowing everything inside them. That uncertainty creates emotional depth. But if every thought becomes visible, relationships may lose mystery completely. Some people may become unable to emotionally handle hearing every doubt, insecurity, or passing attraction inside their partner's mind. Others may realize that thoughts are temporary and do not always define true feelings. Perhaps humanity would slowly understand an important truth: a person is not every thought they think. The human mind is like a storm. Thoughts appear and disappear constantly. Some thoughts are beautiful, some are dark, some are irrational, some are emotional reactions rather than genuine intentions. Maybe real love is not loving someone with perfect thoughts. Maybe real love is understanding that imperfect minds can still hold sincere hearts. At first, mind reading sounds like the ultimate superpower. It promises honesty, transparency, justice, and truth. But the deeper humanity enters this reality, the more terrifying it becomes. Because civilization itself depends on emotional privacy. Not every thought deserves judgment. Not every fear defines a person. Not every dark emotion becomes an action. Human beings are emotionally messy creatures, and perhaps the ability to hide thoughts protects humanity from destroying itself. Mind reading may create more honesty, but it may also create emotional exhaustion, broken relationships, loss of freedom, and psychological chaos. And in the end, humanity may realize something unexpected. The true problem was never that people could not read minds. The real problem was that people never learned to understand each other deeply enough without needing supernatural powers. Perhaps empathy is more powerful than mind reading because empathy allows humans to care about pain they cannot see. And maybe that invisible mystery inside every human mind is what makes relationships, trust, and love so meaningful in the first place. Every person you meet is carrying thoughts, fears, insecurities, memories, and emotional battles you know nothing about. Some are smiling while suffering, some are laughing while lonely, some are acting strong while silently breaking inside, and maybe humanity does not need the power to read minds. Maybe humanity simply needs the willingness to understand hearts more carefully. But here is the final question. If you had the power to hear every human thought around you from this moment onward, would that power make your life better or completely destroy your peace forever? If this video made you think deeply about human nature, truth, and the hidden world inside every mind, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Echo English for more powerful stories, psychological concepts, and life changing ideas that can transform the way you see the world. And remember, sometimes the most dangerous place in the universe is not outside us, it is inside the human mind.